Drake, the SEC, we give them a lot of crap. We give them a lot of grief at times, but are they relatively soft when it comes to the fan experience? Let's talk about it.
This is another thing. This is just, they keep doing this to us, TJ. They keep just doing stupid things publicly. When the second you think, all right, here we go, the SEC is back. They're we all have known they're the best conference in college football for the last 20 years, and that's fine. We won't argue it, but they want to shove it down our throats, and then don't you dare rush the field. Don't you dare storm the court. Don't you dare have fun being a college kid. Look, if you are at Valparaiso, I can't speak to that college experience. I can speak to my buddies who went to the University of Arkansas, who went to Ole Miss, who went to Alabama, who are at Vanderbilt. Even those nerds like to storm the dang court. And the SEC was very clear that if you do this, we are going to fine you. If you storm the field, we're going to fine you. This can't happen. The Big 12, everywhere else, you know what? Have some fun. Cash some happy checks. Be a college kid. The latest development with this from the SEC is Dennis Gates saying he told his fans at Mizzou not to storm the court because we need the money to go to NIL. What? He's like, please, we can't get fined, which NIL doesn't even run through the athletic department. Who are they making pay their court storming bill right now? Like, how do you mid-game, like, fans, please don't storm the court. We're poor. We can't afford this. Why are you the mighty SEC and your teams are begging your fans to not do the single most fun thing you can do when you're 19 years old, 20 years old, and probably inebriated? Don't do it. We're poor. You can't have both. You cannot be the apex of sport, the league that does it better than everybody else. It just means more. It just means less court storming. It just means less money, apparently. Like, why are we nickeling and diming our students who, TJ, one court storming is like $25,000. There is not a single SEC school where one student's tuition in 1 year can't cover that. There are certain SEC schools where a student's tuition from one single semester could cover $25,000. Mine at Baylor, I could have paid for 2 court stormings every single year if the Bears wanted to do it, and that was just me. But no. Don't do this, because then our athletic department can't afford NIL. And guess who doesn't even afford NIL? The athletic departments. I have so many questions for Dennis Gates. I have so many questions for the SEC. This continues to happen. They keep making stupid rules, saying they're the underdog, and just throwing up all over themselves publicly when we already know they're good at the whole sports thing.
Okay, another direction with this. I'm sure you've seen the Greg Byrne comments where he has talked about the AD at Alabama. I'll remind you before we even get into that Greg Byrne earlier was talking about, hey, we're not going to schedule tough out of conference because we're getting penalized for, playing tough schedules. Meanwhile, their losses were to Vandy and Oklahoma this year. Yeah. But 2 SEC teams. I know that, Big 12 guys will remember that Oklahoma is no longer in the conference. But Greg Byrne, again, I don't know why we continue to stick a microphone in his face to get his take on things. He thinks that the team of a team, if the fans of a team storm the court after upsetting a highly ranked opponent, they should lose that game.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, that was a really fun one, man. Again, it's every time an executive in the SEC opens their mouth and just think that's it. That's the epitome of stupid. That's the pinnacle. We've done it. We can't get any better than this. Forfeit the game because, again, likely inebriated 22-year-old college kids are standing on the court or standing on the field. I know Alabama doesn't really get this because they always are the big dog and they're never upsetting teams and winning at home against a top 5 team. We've been here before. So they're the ones that are ticked off because other schools are doing it against them. Don't lose. How about just don't lose to Vanderbilt? If you don't lose to Vanderbilt, they don't take the goalposts and throw them in the river. And guess what? Because you lost to Vanderbilt, my dad still talks about 2007, Darren McFadden, the University of Arkansas Razorback, playing against LSU. And it was a massive upset against the number 1 team in the country. It took place in Little Rock, Arkansas, if I remember correctly. Maybe getting my years mixed up. But guess what happened? They stormed the field. They took the goalposts. They marched them down Markham Street in Little Rock, Arkansas. Coolest thing ever. He loves that story. He loves to talk about it because it's a great memory as a Razorback fan, and those fans don't get very many of them. And now, kill it. Kill it with fire. Don't do it. You're going to forfeit the game if you storm the field. Imagine being, a group of 100 kids that all you want to do your senior year is make a memory because you just beat the number 1, the number 5, the number 10 team in the country. And the second you step on the field, The game's nullified. The 80 players who competed in that game, they all of a sudden have to take a loss because kids wanted to do what kids do. You don't hear this from the Big 12. You don't hear this from the Mountain West. The ACC, the AAC, they're going to let students just kind of go. And the SEC claims to be this great, we're not only are we academically sound, we're also a very fun experience for students. We're the party conference. You get to come here and have a great 4 years, 5 years in most cases, and live it up in Baton Rouge or live it up in Fayetteville or live it up in College Station. And instead, they've once again embarrassed themselves because they don't want you to have any fun. If I am 17 years old and seeing that Greg Byrne is telling me if I rush the floor that Alabama, my favorite team, is going to lose the game because I did that, I'm packing my bags. I'm going to Purdue. I'm going to Northwestern. I'm going to Illinois. Send me to the cold where they actually want to have fun.
Absolutely correct. 2007, they upset LSU, number 1 in the country, 50-48. Imagine watching 98 points worth of football. And
don't you dare such a, because if you step on the field, your team loses now.
Yeah. Unranked Arkansas at that time when that game.
And LSU still wins the national championship.
Yeah. Must be nice. But yeah, like it's just silly. And I don't know. People will argue player safety, and you see different things happen. And I get it, but man, to make it this big of a deal, court storming, field storming, I've never seen. I don't know. I feel like we could go on forever about this, but yeah, it just seems asinine to me. It just seems. And again, when you've got coaches getting on the loudspeaker during games to do this, you've got ADs that continue to get mics shoved in their mouth to talk about these things. I don't know. It just seems so silly to me.
It's a crazy concept. Middle of the game, the coach is like, shoot, we're too poor for this. We can't afford this. Microphone. He's like yelling at an assistant somewhere to hand him a microphone and talk to the entire crowd. But guys, please, I don't have any money. These students who pay $50,000 a year, you're telling them that you don't have enough money for them to run on the floor. I can't. I know I'm kind of going in circles here, but it just baffles me that this is the world. This is how soft the world has gotten today. This is how soft everything is, because now athletes cannot be celebrated, because those are great. Those are great pictures too. Where the athletes are taking the Snapchats with the fans and they're signing stuff, and they sign some random kid's forehead. Those are so fun too. I mean, I think if you really ask the college kids, they would love this. They love a good court storming where they jump up and down and celebrate and the floor is shaking. It's the adults in the room who seem to be who hate fun all of a sudden.
How iconic of a moment was it out in Arizona this year, where they stormed the field twice for Arizona State?
BYU fans don't like
that was chaotic, like with the second back on and Kenny was screaming at the refs. But that's what we want.
Iconic.
We want chaos. Like,
the band is on the field. The band is on the field. Baylor, I guess my junior year at Baylor, we beat Lincoln Riley's Oklahoma team, and I have a buddy who loves to tell a story of giving Lincoln Riley the double bird as he ran across the field. And Baylor calls a timeout with 3 seconds to go. They have to back all the students up into the sidelines and that extra area on the side of the field. And Baylor kicks a field goal to win by 17. Just rub it in, salt in the wound. And it was awesome. It was awesome.
Storming out of it.
You storm the field twice, but not in the SEC. You have to forfeit.
Yeah, game's over at that point. Do you forfeit it with 3 seconds left, or do you get to kick that field goal to have a 17-point forfeit? That would maybe be a good question.
I think from there, it's like drone strike. I think from there, they're just like, you know what? Tear the stadium down. All the students are fired. We're done. We're done. They cancel the athletic department.
It just means more unless you're on the court. Drake, where can people follow you? Where can they get more of your content?
Yeah, at Drake C. Toll or at LO Big 12 on Twitter, and wherever you find your podcast with Locked On Big 12.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.